Our next speaker is part of the Society for Automation, Instrumentation, Mechatronics, and Control. Got it. I think he's best suited to tell us what all of that means because he even messed up my English with that. Let's please welcome to the stage John Pala.
Hello, everyone. It's a Friday afternoon, so I will try to keep it short and sweet before everyone starts falling asleep. So before I get started, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. 20 years ago, I was in matric in the northern side of the country in Limpopo, Beggarsford, Mutlowilela village to be specific, so I'm a village boy. So after my matric, thanks to my father who worked for Sasol, so he insisted that I become an engineer. So post my matric, I did not start immediately the following year. So that gave me enough time to explore engineering field, to find out what engineering is all about. And that's then I started learning about control and instrumentation. So then I studied National Diploma Control Instrumentation here in the Val Institute of Technology. I started working for Sasol. I spent some years in Secunda. Then I also worked for Sasol here, Sasolbeck. I worked for Siemens for the past few years. Now I work for Natref. That is my current employer. During the time, I also got involved with like she mentioned, the Society for Automation, Instrumentation, Mechatronics, and Computer Engineering. That is the society or organization I represent for the Val branch. So I think that's a little bit about myself. But my topic for today is just to tell you more about what control and instrumentation is all about and what we do on a daily basis. I just want to ask this question. Can anyone or everyone agree that for you to control something, you need to be able to measure it? If I need to control the time I'm going to stand before you here, I at least need some instrument to measure time. That is a watch. So instrumentation, control, and automation. Like I mentioned, you need instruments to measure something that you want to control. And now there's a part automation. I think few speakers have already spoken about automation. Automation is basically now you want to reduce or minimize the manual work. That's where it comes, the part of the control comes in. So what is it in a process plant or any manufacturing industry? Maybe Sasol, for example. Probably you've seen something similar to this picture that you're seeing if you go outside. What is it that we are measuring and controlling? So for Sasol or Natref to produce fuels, diesel, petrol, you can name them. You can even go out and talk about in the mining industry, this process, in a clothing making industry, in a food making industry, there's process in doing that. So what is it that we measure and we want to control during that process? We've got levels. Imagine a tank, a Jojo tank at home. There's water in there. So now here, obviously, is a manufacturing or process industry. You'll have levels in these things that you see here, which are the vessels and the tanks. You want to control the pressure, the flow of the products that are going in and out of the system. The temperature, the quality. Imagine if you buy a diesel that is made by Natref, that is not on spec. You know about the emissions, the pollution of the environment. So quality, basically, you're measuring the specification of the product. Temperature, there's some moving machines which you need to measure the speed. Like I mentioned, before you control something, you need to measure it. Imagine you want to control your speed, and you don't have anything to show you at what speed you're driving. You won't be able to control it, right? So these are the variables we control in a process manufacturing area. As you can see, some picture below there, you will have um, the engineering station. That is where control instrumentation do most of the work. That's what they do, the automation, the control, and the programming of the control which you want to control it. So this is what we see, typical control room. When you produce in a process plant, like example, like Sasol, you're not going to be always outside doing the manual work. There will be someone who's sitting in a central control room like this, and now monitoring what's happening on the plant. Is it safe? Is it optimal? Is it reliable? That is what happened in instrumentation. Then, for these instruments, imagine if a traffic officer stops you on the road and they say you were driving 130 kilometers per hour, meanwhile you were driving 80. That means that any instrument that you use to measure, it must be tested, it must be functional, it must be calibrated according to set standards. And in South Africa, we know we've got some standards, South African Bureau of Standards. You will see a sticker everywhere you see. You've got some South African national standards. There can be any local standard that you set for yourself, but the bottom line is the instrumentation that you use to measure, they need to be accurate. If I need to know now is 10 minutes before 1 o'clock, this needs to be accurate, right? So this is a typical test bench or workbench where the control instrumentation engineer will be testing the instrument. We have associations that regulate our engineering ethics and profession and code of conduct. Engineering Council of South Africa. We need, as engineers, we get registered with these professions. And the one I represent, the Society for Automation, Instrumentation, Mechatronics, and Computer Engineering. So I'm a Val Branch General Manager for this area. So basically, all we do is just to advance the knowledge amongst the professionals. We welcome everybody, even up to your level, the learners, up to university. You can join us. We have monthly sessions where we can just talk about what's in the industry, the fourth industrial revolution, the wireless communication, what's new in the industry with regards to automation and instrumentation. And there's some companies that support these organizations for them to run. Then, what about the careers, the choices you have in instrumentation? Depending on what route you're going to choose in terms of education, after your matric, you might decide you don't really want to go to university, or you want to go to University of Technology, or you want to go to TVET college, or you just don't want to go to a college, but you want to start working. If you are interested in instrumentation, all those options are available. You can become an artisan. Luckily, you only need to pass the easy subjects, maths and physical science. That's it. Yeah, the easy one, ne? Okay, then in the sectors, you can work literally anywhere. You can work in a petrochemical, like Sasol, Natref. You can work in a fast-moving goods, that's basically your food manufacturing company or clothing. You can name them. The mining, you can also work in the mining industry. The car manufacturing industry, you can also work there. There's always instruments that measure something, there's always instruments that control something, and there's always automation part of it. Then there's the whole range of specialization you can choose from. You can become a control instrumentation engineer, like I am, that's what I do. But there's specialization fields, so you can be an automation engineer, you can be a programmer, you can be a system integrator, you can be a design or design engineer, you can be a project engineer. So there's the whole range of fields you can choose within control, instrumentation, and automation. Any questions? That's the end of my story. I guess all of you now know what I do for fun and living.
Thank you, Mr. John Pala. Thank you for enlightening us about SA, IMC. With you guys is Gift Makamo from Iketeteng Comprehensive Secondary School. And firstly, I would like to ask you, sir, in your field of study, what was your best motivation to achieve?
What was my?
Motivation to achieve.
Okay. I think, like I mentioned, sometimes I think. Pardon? Okay, it's fine. Okay, back to my answer. My motivation to achieve was, as I mentioned, maybe it should be an advice to you as well. Do not let the background at home determine where you will be in life. So I'm one of the learners who walked to school barefooted. So my motivation to achieve has always been, I know where I come from, and this is where I want to be.
Thank you, sir. Are there any questions from the audience? Any questions this side? Okay.
No questions.
So we have a good...
That's where we start working. Because if it doesn't crash, then we have no work to do. So if you are one of those people who get excited when the TV breaks at home, when any electronic stuff breaks at home, then I will welcome you in the future in the industry. So if the system crashes, that's when we really start getting to it. So we obviously have a limited time to recover, to get the system running. If it needs to be replaced, you replace. If it needs to be engineered out, you can redesign it so it can meet your functional requirements.
We have a question, or is there anyone satisfied? So what are the requirements if one should partake in the SAIMC?
Okay, SIMC has, I think, about 7 branches. So there's in the Vaal area, there's also Johannesburg branch if you are from that side. But in the Vaal, I'm the contact person. So from when COVID-19 started, we always had the virtual attendance. But now we actually normally meet at the bowling club here in Sasolburg next to Fleves Mareka. So if you are interested in joining, I also live in the local area here. So I can be contacted. Then you can enjoy our technology evenings free of charge. We talk about technology and instrumentation.
Thank you, sir.